Hi, and welcome back. One of the questions I received recently was how I keep my toiletry bag so small when I'm packing in just a carry-on. So I thought I'd do a quick go through of my toiletries and give you a look inside and give you some tips as to how I keep my toiletry bag as minimal as possible. Now, of course, everybody's different and everybody needs different stuff. And one of the things that is easy for me is I don't really wear a lot of makeup, and so I don't need to carry too many makeup products or hair products or anything like that. I mean, as you can see, I don't really do my hair per se, so I don't need any of those kind of things. So if you have those things, obviously you'll have to develop your own style, but I'll give you some idea of what mine looks like and maybe it'll help you. So if you're new here, my name is Karia, and I've traveled to almost 60 countries in the last 25 years. And last year in 2024, I retired early to travel the world full time. So I've had some time to kind of go through my packing and hone it down over the years. And I also do a lot of long distance bike packing and backpacking, and that definitely helps. So what that helps with is the fact that I don't really need much. And I know that I can live with not very much. And, you know, when you're backpacking, you really sometimes just don't shower for a few days or whatever, and you wash your underwear out in the river. So I've kind of gotten used to that. So maybe I'm a little more willing to go with less stuff, but I'll show you what I have and you guys can decide what you want to do on your own. So let's get started. This is my bag. And, to be honest, this is not a sponsored post, just kidding. This was like a bag that I bought 4 of on Amazon. It was a pack of 4, and I gave one to everybody in my family, and it was very inexpensive. I'll see if I can find it and link it below, but I think literally it was the pack of 4 for $5 or something. And I thought for sure that they would break and the zipper would break or they wouldn't last long. And I've had this for probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years now. So who knew? Anyway, what I do basically to make it easier for TSA is I have anything that's liquid in this bag. So that way I can pull this out, put this back in my carry-on, and have this on the outer pocket of my backpack so I can just whip it out and put it on the conveyor. So I guess I will start with all of my wet items. So once again, I don't really wear very much makeup. So the only makeup I really have is 1 tube of mascara. And basically, I just use, this is sunscreen. And as you can see, I'm gonna need to get some more soon, but I just use this for everything. I put it on my face in the morning, so that's my face lotion. So I just have the one lotion. So if you need more than one lotion, you might want to get a little smaller tube than this. I believe this is the 3-ounce size. Yeah, this is the 3-ounce size. So I wanted to get the biggest possible one that I could. And I just refill this. And sometimes, like where I am now is near the beach, so I'll probably get a big one. I'll use as much as I can. And right before I leave, I will fill this up and I'll just leave the rest behind. But I use this for face lotion, body lotion, whatever. This one I actually just stayed at a hotel and they had this lotion, so I grabbed it, but normally I do not travel with this. It's just a regular body lotion. So I thought that since I was here, I would just use this as my non-sunscreen body lotion, and then I would leave it behind or throw it away or whatever when I left. But normally I don't travel with this. It's not very convenient. It's metal. It's not refillable, so it doesn't really have a great place, but I just have it just in case. This is contact lens solution, and this is just a bottle that I refill anytime it gets empty. So when it starts to get empty, I will just buy another big one, fill it up, and same as the sunscreen, if I have to leave the bigger bottle behind, I'll leave the bigger bottle behind. In all, it's not really very expensive, but one trick I do, and this is probably, if you're my eye doctor or anybody's eye doctor watching this, please don't yell at me. I wear contacts, and I actually don't clean them with a new solution every day. So I just put the little liquid in the little pots and I put my contacts in them and I swizzle them around to get the bacteria off or whatever, but I don't necessarily put new solution in every single time. So that's maybe not the most hygienic thing, but it saves me having to buy a lot of solution. And so that's what I do. So speaking of contacts, I mean, these take up the most room. I've brought enough here for my whole trip, and I've just started my trip basically. So these are 2-week contacts, and I usually wear them for a month to make them last a little longer. So that's what I have basically, is like a whole year supply of contacts there. Here we have tiny little toothpaste and an extra chapstick. Obviously you can buy these things in pretty much any country. The only reason I have 2 of them is because I had 2 little half full ones and I thought I might as well just bring them and use them. But usually I would only carry one and I would just buy another one in the country that I was in. That is one thing I think is a tip, is that pretty much any country has pretty much anything. So you don't need to really bring extras. So I'm balking my own tip, or I'm not listening to my own advice, but you can buy it anywhere. I mean, you don't need to bring 100 tampons or 3 things of toothpaste just in case. You'll be able to find them somewhere else. And you know, the thing about traveling is you do realize like you don't need the exact same one as you would use at home every single time. So maybe they don't have the crest whitening one that I like, but you can make do with whatever. So I would say just bring one and buy another one when you're ready to buy another one. So same thing goes for the chapstick. This is actually an extra one. So again, I'm not listening to my own advice, but I cleaned out all my stuff. I got rid of all my stuff, and I had a few of these little things kind of hanging on that I was like, you know, I might as well not throw them away. I'll just bring them with me and use them. And then pretty much I won't have anything left. So that's my reasoning for that, whether it's good or bad. This is a hand sanitizer, which I haven't even used. So I think I will probably leave this behind in the end. And this is just a tiny thing of Vaseline, which can be used for my lips or whatever. But sometimes I do hikes and things, and it's nice to have a little Vaseline. Sometimes you get a little chafed. Actually, the other day I was in Krakow and I took a walk around and it was really cold. And I wore jeans and they rubbed up against the side of my knees. It was the weirdest thing. Anyway, a little bit of Vaseline. You can just put it on there and it's like a balm basically. So I don't carry Neosporin with me, but I do have a little Vaseline, so you can put it on any kind of area that needs it. Okay, so that's all the wet stuff. Let's get rid of that. Now the dry stuff. I guess the tip here is that a lot of things that you would use wet could also be dry. So for instance, the toothpaste. For hiking, I actually use toothpaste tabs, and you can use those for traveling as well. I don't know if you haven't tried them, you should, because they're actually quite nice, and you just take one tab and you can swizzle around, and they're very easy to use, especially if you have water. The only problem with hiking sometimes is you just have to use your spit, and it's not the best thing then, but they're very convenient and they don't waste packaging, which is really nice. So right now I'm kind of wasting packaging. So toothpaste tabs, that's a tip there. But there's also other things. So this is just a shampoo bar, which it's a shampoo and conditioner bar, but I just use it as soap as well. So here you go. Another thing where you can use it for more than one thing, and that way you don't have to carry 2 things. And usually the reason it's in all this packaging is because usually the Airbnbs or hotels that I stay in have shampoo and conditioner. So I actually haven't even had to take this out, except for the very first place in Germany didn't have stuff. So this is more like a just in case they don't have it. What was the other thing I was going to show? Oh yeah. So this is another thing. These are laundry sheets. That way you can do laundry without needing to have any liquids. And basically I try to get a wash machine everywhere that I stay in, and this one that I'm in currently is the only one that hasn't given me enough detergent for my stay. So I've used these, and they're very convenient. You only really need like half of one, but that way you don't have to have liquids. I just carry a few Q-tips, This is a brush. It's only half of it, but it folds up. But it used to have a little flippy thing that goes over the other side with a mirror, but it broke off. These are all my pills, and it's very convenient, keeps them separated. I probably have more than I need in this case, but I do like that container. This is just a sleep mask and some extra rubber bands. I just looped them all together. Toothbrush. Earplugs. Extra razors. Oh, I forgot. Actually, my razor is in the shower, but I do have a razor as well. These are dry wet wipes. So again, going with the theme of not having things be moist, you can just wet these up with a little bit of water and they become a wet wipe. And it takes just barely like 1 capful. Tiny sewing kit. 1 sanitizing wipe. This is very important. Floss sticks. I know that I could save space by just carrying actual floss, but I really like having a floss stick handy. I really do. It makes me floss more, you know, if you just have it next to you right after lunch, you just can floss and then you've done your flossing. And then the other thing, very important, don't leave home without it, is a nail clipper. I am amazed at how fast my nails grow because it feels like I have to clip them all the time. But this is something, even when I was bikepacking, or if I'm doing a long backpacking trip, long enough that I'll need to clip my nails, I think this is something worth carrying. And then I also have a comb as just a backup to this because, I don't know, it's redundant. It's not a great tip. You don't need to be redundant. Don't do what I'm doing. So that's pretty much it. That's what I have in my toiletry bag. And if you have any questions or tips for me, like maybe getting rid of the redundancy here, then feel free to leave them in the comments, and also let me know what's the best way, what you think the best way of organizing your items is so that you don't have to bring too much, and what's one toiletry that you can't live without. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Happy travels.